What up, pimps? It's your boy, Christian, with a review of UFC 3. If you've ever watched any videos on this channel, then it will come as no surprise to you that I really like fighting games. 2D fighters, 3D fighters, whatever. As long as the game is fun, I'll take the time to learn how to play them properly. UFC 3 is not the type of game you can pick up and play online unless you want to get beat down in a few seconds. Like with most sports games, it helps if you understand how the sport works before you blindly jump in. UFC 3 is broken down into the stand-up game and the ground game. The stand-up game is relatively straightforward. You punch and kick fools while trying to avoid attacks yourself. The ground game consists of this sort of stuff. As you can see, the ground game looks complicated, and because of that, you'd expect a decent tutorial. My biggest problem with UFC 3 is not the unfinished career mode or the shoehorned in ultimate team mode, and we'll get to those later. It's the useless guides and tutorials that really disappoint me. Most games are best enjoyed with players of equal skill levels, but the problem with UFC 3 is that it makes it very difficult for new players to learn the game's mechanics. The tutorials for learning the ground game are so bad. I felt like I was forced to go online and find guides on YouTube to learn how to play the game properly. There's nothing wrong with the gameplay of UFC 3 at all, but when the developers make it difficult for people to understand how to play the game, these players will never find out how good the fighting can be. So, about that career mode. You're supposed to create a character who will rise up to become the greatest of all time. The problem is that when you play through more than an hour of the career mode, you'll get the gist of it all and you won't stop playing. Between fights, players have the option of training to increase stats, learn new moves at the gym, and promoting fights. You don't actually get to do anything during all three of these options. There are text bubbles that increase numbers. It feels like the developers needed 3 more months or so to add some interactivity to the career mode, because right now it feels lifeless. Even the rivalries that form throughout the games are scripted, leaving no reason to go back to the career mode a second time. The fights against the AI in any mode of UFC 3 make your fighter seem like an amateur compared to the seasoned professionals in the ring. I've seen several people online complain about the AI and how it never seems to lose stamina as fast as their fighters do. Now, I'm not saying fighting against the AI is a giant waste of time, but it really does seem like fighting against the AI sure is a giant waste of time. And speaking of giant wastes of time, did you know that UFC 3 has an Ultimate Team mode? I can understand it for games like FIFA, Madden and NHL because you play with teams of individual players, but UFC? What dude at EA thought that was a good idea? Seriously, what the fuck? You get to open packs that contain fighters, moves and buffs. Why would anyone play this mode over the regular ranked mode? Why bother hoping you could pack a sick gold fighter with some sweet moves when you could just pick them in ranked? I don't understand the appeal of this mode at all. I have no idea why anyone would play it. It just seems so stupid. I wouldn't recommend picking up UFC 3 if you own a standard PS4 or Xbox One. EA have added a performance mode to the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X versions that locks the game to 1080p 60fps. I mean, you could play at 30fps, but you really shouldn't. Having half the amount of frames to react to attacks isn't ideal in a fighting game, you know? All the gameplay you've seen in this video has been taken from the performance mode on the Xbox One X. UFC 3 excels as a fun fighting game to play locally with your friends. There are a number of new modes introduced to this series that change the way you can play the game. Unfortunately, these modes are not available online for some reason. Maybe it's because EA wants players to play their shitty Ultimate Team mode? Could be, guys. It could be. Don't buy this game if you have a passing interest in it, because it's not worth the full retail price. Wait for it to drop to a cool 10 quid before you pick it up. I've already written a proper review for this game, which you can find in the description. This is a straightforward review, so if you want something with a lot more detail, you should probably check that out. As usual, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this review in the comments below. It's a little bit different to what we usually do, so your feedback helps. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, all that rubbish, and follow us on Twitch, because we do stuff on there. Hopefully we see you guys in our next video or stream.